Well, this was a very eventful day. Like, I knew this was going to happen eventually. I knew at some point we were going to reach a deal or we are going to have victory with this trade war, but I didn't think it would be this fast. I thought it would be maybe a couple months, maybe a couple weeks. But no, it's been like, what, a week? And President Trump put the statement out. Based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I'm hereby raising the tariff charged to China by the United States of America to 125%, effective immediately.
Good, thank you. And we saw the successful negotiating strategy that President Trump implemented a week ago today.
Yes, this is real. This is not speculation. This isn't a rumor. This is right for President Trump. He is saying, hey, we have a 125% tariff on China, effective immediately. And for those that live under a rock, this is increased by 20% in just one night. Last night, it was 104%. Now, President Trump says, that's too low. It's now up to 125% because China raised theirs to like 84%. So Trump is not pissing around. He is saying, no, we are not messing around anymore. China's going to either respect us and treat us fairly, or I'm going to keep raising the tariff every single day. Anytime they do something I don't like, here's another 25% tariff. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the United States and other countries is no longer sustainable. And notice what he said. He didn't just say the United States. He said, and other countries. This is the first time that Trump has ever said this. Every time he talks with China, he says they're ripping off the US. He doesn't care what happens in Germany and France or whatever, but this is the first time that he said, oh, they're not just ripping us off. They are ripping every single person off. And this is weird. It's like, wait, why is Trump saying other countries? Well, conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Department of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, yeah, he said 75 countries as of now are meeting with us. They're trying to work out permanent trade deals with the US, whether it's with the Department of Commerce, Treasury, etc. Now, that's not a small number. That's a substantial amount of countries, and we're not talking about some random country in like Africa or whatever. No, we're talking about India, Vietnam, South Korea, Japan. You know, the heavy hitters? They're the countries that, in all reality, Trump was focused the most on. He was focused mostly on countries like India, Vietnam. He wasn't that focused on like, you know, Africa or whatever. But the point is, the countries that he's most worried about, well, right now, they're meeting with us as we speak to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, and my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the U.S. I have authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. And this was a part of the statement that shook everyone. Not a single person thought this was going to happen. Like the China stuff, yeah, that was kind of expected. But that final section, he said, okay, these countries are working with us, right? Like Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, they're coming to us. They're talking with us on actual deals. So you know what? Because these countries are working with us in good faith, you know what? We're going to pause all these tariffs except for a 10% universal tariff across the board. Now, that's not including China. China keeps their 125% tariff. But every other country, guess what? Their tariff went down to 10%, and everyone was shocked. I mean, everyone was like, wait, huh? Trump lowered the tariff to 10% on every country? Yes, because guess what? It was never about Vietnam. Yes, they were a big issue, but it was never really about in Europe or Africa. The big country Trump was really focused on was China. And Trump did something that was very risky. I want to be clear about this. This was super risky what he pulled. Because if this failed, yes, there would have been a big recession. Things would have gotten real bad. But by some miracle, he successfully navigated the waters perfectly. And now, after 75 countries, not just random countries, but countries like Japan, South Korea, now that they're talking, that's when Trump announced this reduction in tariffs, except for China. China is the only country where their tariffs not only did not go down, but it went up even more. Which, you know, again, no one was expecting this. Like, this early, everyone thought it was going to be maybe a couple weeks. But no, Trump decided, you know what, all these countries are working with us. You know what, we're going to reduce the tariffs on every other country except China. And this is what happened. Trump, Besant, and Lutnick, they have taken a huge gamble that paid off. Because now, Trump is framing this as the world versus China. Because China's the only country that is still not working with us. They're playing by their own rules, they're playing games, and now Trump is showing the world, hey, we are willing to work with every single one of you. China, meanwhile, let's be honest here, they have screwed the world over for decades. Including countries like Vietnam, India, they have been screwing them over for decades. So now, Trump made this a world versus China economic war. That's what he's trying to do here. He's trying to frame this as, hey, it's us versus them. Would you rather work with the US, which we're willing to work with you, or China? When you know damn well they're never going to treat any country with respect. They're never going to be fair. They're going to always pull bullshit. That's what Trump did here. This was ingenious, what he did, and the stock market loved it. And a reminder that Trump still has a 125% tariff on China, which everyone's saying, oh, a 10% tariff would end the world, right? It's 125% of China and still a 10% on every other country. Despite that, the stock market loved it. In fact, it surged by 9.5%. And I believe NASDAQ went up by 11, Dow went up by 10 or whatever. Either way, the stock market loved what Trump did. By some miracle, Trump got the stock market to say, yes, we love tariffs now. We love what Trump is doing with universal tariffs. I don't know how he accomplished that, but just in 1 week, we went from, oh, we can't have a 5% tariff because the world's going to end, to now, oh, we love the idea of a 10% tariff everywhere. And China, which is a big trade partner, we're on a tariff for that 25%. We love that as well. This was a huge win for Trump, and a lot of people are talking about why he did this. This is the part I really want to discuss the most about, because it's very interesting why Trump did it now. You know, there's some theories going around. People are saying he folded, he did all this stuff. But I want to be clear about one thing. There's not just one answer why Trump did this. There's like 5 or 6 different answers why Trump decided right now to stop these tariffs or whatever. But there's like 4 or 5 reasons that he did it. And the biggest theory that some people are pushing is, well, look at the bonds market, right? The 10-year treasury, this was bad. This was getting really bad last night. I mean, it was going up by some ridiculous margin. Yeah, it swung like, it was just insane. It was going crazy last night. And this is not good because, well, if this goes up a lot, this could hurt America big time. And some people are claiming that the only reason that Trump decided to, you know, lower the tariffs is because of this market. Because if it goes too high, things could get ugly real quick. And I'm not denying that. In fact, Trump said he was watching the bond markets. He was watching what was happening with the bonds.
Was it the bond markets that persuaded you to reverse course?
I was watching the bond market. The bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful.
But the issue I have with this idea that, well, he only did this because of the bonds, the problem is Trump still raised tariffs on China. It's still 125%, and we have tariffs on every single country. So again, I'm not denying the idea that, yeah, I think Besant and Lutnick and Trump, their plan was get the treasury to go way down. But the problem is, well, it was going up because China was playing games, other countries as well. So what I think happened was they had an original plan, which we'll get to that in a second, but they decided to accelerate the time frame. All right, instead of doing it in a couple weeks, like after they get a deal with Japan or whatever, they decided right now, right after these countries start talking with us, we're going to initiate this pause right now. But the real reason I think Trump is doing this right now, the number one reason, is because the countries are talking with America. Right now, there's 75 countries talking with the United States. Again, we're talking about South Korea, Japan, India. And apparently today, Bassett was saying, yeah, I have like 4 meetings today, one with India, one with Vietnam, South Korea. He's basically meeting with the 4 major countries we're focused on. We're focused on these 4 because guess what? If we work with them and they work with us, this could really screw China over, which I really believe now this was the #1 reason that Trump started this trade war. To get the world behind America versus China. This is why Trump did it the way he did. He decided to tariff everybody, force them to come to the negotiating table now, and then when the world unites behind us, and they realize, oh wait, China's full of shit. They're not working with America. In fact, they're going to crash their own economy. They're manipulating the stock market. They're trying to devalue their currency even more. They're playing games with bonds. Well, screw those guys. They have been shafting us for years. And that's what I think happened. We got all these countries behind us. We're working on big deals. And everyone's kind of realizing that, oh, China's dumb. This trade war is stupid. And China is refusing to work with America. They're not working with America. And in fact, everyone's been screwed over by China for decades. So you know what? Let's dogpile on them. Let's work with America to, for once and for all, deal with China. Because guess what? China cannot afford this. If every country's working with America, do you think that's good for China? Their entire economy is relied solely on constant economic growth and having 1 billion people employed. If they start losing big companies like Apple, what do you think's going to happen? They're going to lose hundreds of billions of dollars every single year. Because those companies, if they just see China's playing this game and they're not working with America, well, India and Vietnam are going to say, well, hey, we have a deal with America and come here. We'll work with you. That's what's going to happen. And China right now, I honestly have no clue what they're doing. They're doing some very dumb stuff. It's going to blow up in their face horribly. And now, Trump has a leverage. Trump successfully has a leverage because he exposed the world that China would rather suffer a potential economic disaster than actually work with anybody. It's economic suicide what they're trying to pull. Could it work? Maybe. But most people are saying, this is stupid. This strategy they got, it's not going to work. And the people that are saying, oh, well, Japan and South Korea, they're going to save them. Those countries are working with us. So what does China have? What does China have that's going for them? Outside of having 1 billion slaves, nothing. Everything's going against them. The world is slowly uniting behind America. And people are actually supporting the tariffs now, which is just funny. But that's what the stock market showed. The stock market loves tariffs now because these people, they think, oh, well, a 10% tariff is better than a 20% tariff. This is a victory. Which should tell everyone that the stock market, it's not the economy. These people are dumb. A lot of these people that invest in the stock market, they're just stupid. But either way, what we've seen the last, 3 hours really is a huge win for Trump. I would argue it's probably the biggest win in Trump's entire presidency. Again, I understand there's a bunch of reasons why Trump did this. I do think they pulled the trigger now because, well, this is bad. The 10-year treasury, it was supposed to go way down. It was supposed to go way down. But they're like, okay, we're not going to announce this next week. You know what? We got 75 countries, and we have 4 of them here right now. You know what? Let's announce the reduction in tariffs right now and pin the entire world against China. That's what happened. Again, there's 20 different reasons this happened, but either way, it was bold what Trump pulled. I mean, this was a very bold strategy, but it looks like it worked. I mean, it's very early, a lot could happen, but hey, if Trump was able to get the entire world to unite behind America versus China, that's a huge win for us. Because now it's be like, oh wait, China's by themselves, their economy sucks, they rely on a bullshit system, it's gonna collapse. Yeah, they're not in a good situation. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed. to all of you.